Hello, and welcome to Servitization Shorts. I'm your host, Patrick McGowan, CEO and founder of the Service Design Group, and I'm joined today by Scott Broaddus.
Currently the sales and business lead for what we're doing at Bayer for digital pest management, which if you tell me, 14, 15 years ago when I started with Bayer, we would be refining digital solutions and services for the pest management industry. I probably would have told you were crazy, right? And our first go-to-market service solution is around automating remote monitoring for rodents in high-risk commercial establishments. So think food production, think hospitals, think areas where the presence of a rodent threshold zero. I wouldn't say it's necessarily disruptive to our current business. Now it's disruptive perhaps to, I think, some of the traditional processes in which we usually go about in regards to product development and how we bill and service customers. Now, when we talk about disruptive to the industry, absolutely, man. And honestly, although we designed this and worked with customers on starting with remote monitoring for rodents, I'm not sure until they actually started to apply and realized that they had to apply service model innovation to their business to make it successful. They really didn't know how, and we didn't really know how disruptive it really was. Because
and this is really interesting because the Bayer setup here is fundamentally a channels play, or whatever. Your customer is some type of intermediary that then serves their end customer. But yes, now you need them to essentially get really good at selling a remote monitoring solution to their customers.
And this is where we've had to, build some competencies and, change our approach in regards to the journey we take those customers through to be comfortable to adopt and implement and be successful. What we've had to continue to do is continue to evaluate evolving business models, which cater to the needs of those early adopters and innovators that are now in a position to where they understand the return on investment, they understand the ability to invest, amortize, technology. I would say moving forward, it's important for any organization to really think about how you evolve that business model to address the evolving needs of your customers.
And, inevitably there's kind of an ecosystems and partner story, and you mentioned a few times kind of the turnkey service, technology platform, really building that out. Talk us through that a bit. What's the ecosystem and partner landscape look like for this rodent monitoring and digital pest at Bayer?
Man, we don't want to be the makers of widgets. We really don't. We built our platform to be device agnostic. And so when you take that approach, you really have to just continuously do technology scouting, right? What technologies are up and coming that can address customer needs, that fit your vision and mission, and kind of fit on to building value into your platform. And those parties range from, again, technology designers, third-party manufacturers that also are making electronic components for iPhones and different things like this, right? So that ecosystem and those partners looks much different than our traditional businesses.
How about on the platform side? I'm curious.
No, you know what? We built those competencies internally. So we did build our platform, which really allows us the ability to continue to develop it, right, over time. So we have IT and business service support internally, but also developers that are supporting it through third parties.
Yes, let's talk a bit about team structure.
I really think this was one of our strengths, right? We did kind of create this kind of incubation bed that was made up of, I think, a really sound cross-functional team, right? So bring in IT lead, hardware design, product development lead, business development lead, marketing. You bring these things together, and it wasn't really a top down, but it was kind of a more of a horizontal cross-functional team organizational structure to where we all had kind of equal responsibilities and move in the same direction. The other thing, especially for corporations that are going down this route of looking at new innovation, new services, really, Bayer's been around for 155 years, something like that. So, very process driven, right? And when you have these labor intensive processes and channels that you have to normally go through for traditional product innovation, it doesn't allow you to move as fast as you really need to. And that's the other thing we really needed is when you bring new innovation, you have to move a lot faster, right? And you can't hit these roadblocks where you're waiting for, approvals and things like that through traditional processes, and that really helped us. I think the expectation when you launch a traditional product is, you can go out and you can sell a truckload of product, and you deliver a bunch of cash right away, right, to the business. And it just, but then it levels off, right? It kind of levels off. And as opposed to a recurring revenue business that you're starting from the ground up, it can take time, right? How you look at, the numbers, how they're visualized, how they're reported, how you look at them and present them is totally different than, kind of a traditional title transfer business. And then to your point, there's other benchmarks that you're starting to measure that you traditionally don't in businesses, right? Which is, right, are you measuring the customer's experience? And so we've done some, I'd say, modified NPS, right? Where you want to survey and ask your customers how the install experience was to ensure you're delivering on a good customer experience. So they come back for repurchase. So you start to measure repurchase rates and you start to, measure retention. Retention is a big one. Month over month retention is super critical if you're building up a recurring revenue type business. So
what's a challenge you see here and now that you're able to share that you're really looking at? I've got to figure out how to take this one out to move forward.
Yeah, man. The big item right now is integrating our kind of the data from our system and platform into our customers' primary software and routing platforms. And I think other folks bring in new platforms to other industries where their customers have really robust software platforms. They want to work off one platform. So make sure you're ready to support that.
Anything else you were hoping we touch on, or you'd be asked that we haven't?
Because I think people underestimate or undervalue the importance of being first movers. And a lot of people kind of sit back on their heel. They watch what others are doing, kind of try to learn from others' mistakes, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. But I think if you do that, you wait too long, you really miss the boat. I think there's a lot of value in learning through experimentation and failing and making adjustments that tee you up for success in the long run.
Well, Scott, this has been awesome. This is the real deal about what does as a service, innovation, business model transformation look like inside the four walls of a massive multinational.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it and appreciate the opportunity.